Hi guys, Aka here. Thanks to numerous requests, we have another general comparison. This time, we're looking at one of the newest generals to Evony, Pallas. Pallas is the first viable female siege general that we have in the game. So we're going to take a look at her stats, see how good she is, and how well she stacks up to some of the other popular generals that we have right now. So let's get right into it. We have Pallas here, and before we start looking at her skills, want to make a quick note of her base stats. If you look at her attack and her defense stats, they are quite high, and that's just one point to note, so that's a plus for her. Okay, if we look at her main skill, she gets siege attack and defense 35% when attacking, and siege and ranged attack and HP 10% when she brings either a dragon or a spirit beast. So, in total, from her main skill, when you have a beast attached to her, Pallas comes out with a total of 45% attack, 35% defense, and 10% HP. Now, if we look at her specialties, okay, and you take all of them together, Pallas comes out with a total of 61% attack, 40% defense, and 0 HP. Okay, the 0 is kind of weird, but that's how it is. No HP in her specialties. Now, if we look at her ascension and you go through the full ascension, she comes out with a total of 50% attack, 55% defense, and 40% HP. When you put all of her stats together, Pallas comes out with a total of, get this, 156% attack, 130% defense, and 50% HP. Those are very good stats. And we kind of suspected that this might be the case, but based on these stats alone, Pallas is making a very strong run for being a very top general in Evony. But before we call that though, let us compare her to some of the other generals that we have. First up, we have Petronas. Now, let us see how well Pallas compares to Petronas. So, we have both of their stats up right now, and you can see that with the exception of HP, Pallas is looking much better than Petronas. So, that's one up for Pallas. The next general that we're going to look at, Edward Teach. Now, we have the stats up for both of them. And again, as you can see, with the exception of HP, Pallas is looking significantly better than Teach. Finally, we have Zuka. Zuka, arguably one of the strongest generals in Evony right now. If we compare their stats, again, you can see that with the exception of HP, Pallas is doing better than Zuka. So, from the three top generals that we have compared Pallas to right now, she is looking better on the stats, particularly attack-wise, than the three of them. But, of course, it's not just all about stats, okay? Let's look at march size, for example. Fully maxed out, Petronas comes out with 14% march size. Teach doesn't have any march size, but he has 8% rally size. And Zuka comes out with 20% march size. So, in comparison to that, Pallas has 14% march size when she's fully maxed out. While she's looking okay on the march size, she's not topping the group. Okay, Zuka still beats her out on march size. But that's not all Pallas has. Remember, Pallas also has a significant debuff in her skills. In her final specialty, Pallas also gets 25% siege and range HP debuff. Now, I'm not going to say too much about that, but if you have an idea of how siege attack works, you'll understand how important having that 25% siege HP and even the range HP debuff is. So, in my opinion, that's a big plus for Pallas. But that's not all. Also remember that Pallas has that skin. She has this skin for anyone that is willing to splurge the full amount on Pallas, you'll get an additional 10% siege attack and an additional 20% siege HP debuff. So, if you put all of that together, I think it is safe to say that Pallas is an exceptionally strong siege general, and based on the stats that we are looking at so far, I think we can pretty much give her the belt right now for being the best siege general in Evony. Okay, looks like we have someone that is not quite satisfied with us calling that right now. So let's see who we have here. Enter Cleos. Cleos is the second general that was released along with Pallas. He's also a siege general. So let's take a quick look at him and see how good he is. For his main skill, he gets siege attack 40% and siege HP 40%. For his specialties, when you go through all of his specialties, he comes out with 60% attack, 45% defense, and 45% HP. When you complete his ascension, he comes out with 35% attack, 40% defense, and 40% HP. Now, when you put all of his stats together, Cleos comes out with a total of 135% attack, 85% defense, and 125% HP. And I'll be honest with you guys, in his own right, Cleos is a very good siege general. Now, let's compare Cleos to Pallas. As you can see the stats here, Pallas is beating him out quite considerably on the attack and the defense, but Cleos is winning big time on the HP. And in fact, if we compare Cleos to the other three generals that we've looked at right now, you can see that we can make a pretty good argument for Cleos being better than all of the other generals that we've looked at right now. The fact that he has such high siege HP is a big deal. And then, on top of that, when he is fully maxed out, Cleos gets a total of 12% march size increase and 6% rally size increase, making him a very good general. But when we compare the two, Pallas and Cleos, in my opinion, based on the stats, I would say that Pallas is better than Cleos, and I would even go further to say that right now, Pallas is the best siege general in the game. But, of course, when we are looking at these two generals, we need to keep in mind that they are both new generals and very premium generals. Pallas is only right now available in the general summoning. Cleos is not even in the general summoning right now. He's available in this special event that is going on, Heroic Feats, where you get the items and you roll to stand a chance to get Cleos. There is a pack that you can buy if you wanted to get more items to be able to roll to try to get Cleos. And if we look down here, he is apparently guaranteed after you've spun 170 times. Now, with that said, I think it's safe to say that Pallas is definitely a more attainable general than Cleos. Cleos, you could probably get one copy of him, but for you to be, let's call it determined, okay? Yeah, determined. For you to be determined enough, for you to get enough copies of Cleos to use him as a main general and even ascend him is going to take an awful lot. So, in my opinion, I would say that Pallas would likely be used as a main general, while Cleos would likely be used as an assistant. Now, while we are on the topic of assistants, of course, not everyone is going to want to use Pallas as a main general for various reasons. So, let's see how well she and Cleos are as siege assistants. We have their stats here, and as you can see, we also have stats for some of the other popular siege assistant generals that we have in the game right now. And from what we are looking at, I think it's pretty safe to say that both Pallas and Cleos would be very good as siege assistants. In fact, of all the assistants that we are looking at, Pallas has the highest attack when fully maxed out as an assistant. She also has the highest defense, while Cleos comes out with the highest HP. And of all the generals that we have that we can use as assistants, Cleos comes out with the highest march size. So either of these two would be great assistant generals if you are already locked in for the main general that you're using. Now, of course, the question will now be, how compatible are they? And to answer that, here we have screenshots of some of the generals that she is compatible with. As you can see, she's compatible with Petronas. She's also compatible with Ulysses S. Grant. She's compatible with Zucker. She's also compatible with Churchill. And she's also compatible with Edward Teach. So, from what we can see so far, Pallas is compatible with a broad range of siege generals that are widely used in the game. So, based on this, you would likely have no trouble finding a general to work with Pallas. In addition to that, the word on the street is that she can take the siege attack book, which is also an added plus for her. All in all, Pallas and Cleos, the new Barbie and Ken of Evony, are pretty good siege generals, and I think I can say with quite a bit of confidence that we're going to be seeing a lot more of them going forward. Now, just in case Pallas and Cleos are not the type of generals that you fancy, or you're unfortunate enough not to get either of them, if you check out these videos that we have here, we have more comparisons of other siege generals, so you can look at other possible options that might be available to you. That's it for this comparison, guys. Thank you very much. Aka signing out.